Cool. All right, so tell me a little bit about the Star Wars movie.
Well, it was a quick. It's one of those things where you get an idea, and it's so funny you have to write it down. So I wrote it down as quick as possible. It took me about a night, and then I started saying, "Hey, we're going to make this stuff." I said, "Greg, we're going to make a Star Wars spoof," and he said, "No way, I don't want to be involved. That's retarded." So,
well, everyone's got to do it at least once.
One time. That's what I said. So you will be making a Star Wars spoof sometime. You should have got it over with while you could have. But we went and filmed it all in one day, 18 pages in one day. And I know that's, wow. I mean, usually you're shooting 3 or 4 pages, and we were just going from set to set to set, just throwing the camera down. Say your line.
Now, was that because of the excitement and the adrenaline, or was that just because of
restraints? Yeah, restraints. Shooting from when the sun came up until the sun went down. And then some. So the very last scene is at night, obviously. And you can see that online. It's at Chlorians.com. So you can see the whole thing.
You want to spell Chlorians? Spell Chlorians maybe for those of us.
Chlorine.
Chlorians. Midi-chlorians, those magical little animals.
It's what's inside all of us.
We'll just put it at the bottom.
Yeah, Chlorians.com. It's right here.
On the coffee table.
Or right here, somewhere.
Why did you use yellow?
I like yellow. Okay.
It better be in yellow.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and look at another one of your clips here from Ignoble, correct?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Let's introduce it.
Well, which one do you want to look at?
We're going to look at the shot with the runes in the background on the mountains.
Okay.
And the barbed wire fence.
You could show a couple of those. There's a lot of mat. Why don't you explain like matting and that kind of thing, like removing posts and.
Introduce us to the subject, since we will cover it later in our tutorial.
Okay. Well, this is the first film that Murray and I kind of met on. Like I borrowed his camera and he liked what I did with it. So he asked me to shoot this other movie. It was on a camera that I hadn't used before. It was like a real camera, like a professional camera, instead of the DVX 100. So we were running around and it was a blizzard. It was snowing, and we just kind of stopped caring about what was behind us because it was cold and wet. And
this is where you get yourself into a lot of post-work trouble.
Yep.
Is not caring what you're shooting.
And it was also like Murray's first big undertaking, and he was spending a bunch of money on it. Like, how much was it? Like $6,000 or $8,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is way more than we spend now. But they had good food. They had chili. They had chili instead of pizza, so that's good. And you had 100 extras.
100 extras.
A day after Thanksgiving in a blizzard. So yeah, we stopped caring about the little things. So what we had was
this is the fix it and post thing.
Yeah.
Misery brings out the best in art.
Yeah. It looks great though. Yeah. It looks really good. So we have a fence post, or like a barbed wire fence, and this is supposed to be like a fantasy medieval times. Barbed wire didn't exist, and there's a big no trespassing sign. When I don't even think we noticed it until we got back.
And we're like, oh, there's a fence in the background.
Yeah. And I spent about 3 months every day painting out little dust specks from where the red fern grows. So I got really good at painting stuff out.
That was an actual job you had.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not where the red fern grows in Ignoble.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, like the old movie that was made
before I was
born.
I thought it was like a movie within a movie sort of concept.
I listened to the Andy Williams soundtrack.
You had me. I was very interested.
Anyhow, so we just went through and I create one solid frame, and I paint out, copy from different parts of the frame. Like here's this bush, I just copy that bush over here and cover up the frame, or the post, and then I cover up all the posts. And then there's just little wires, and there's like kind of called a line tool, and you can just do it on the line, and then it swishes. Mm-hmm. It takes like the pixels above and below it and just covers up the line.
Well, that's handy.
And so then I create what's called like a master plate with without people in it or anything. So then I have like this solid background plate, and then whenever they move, I just copy from the previous frame onto the current frame. And so they move, and then I just copy the last frame wherever it's moving, so it stays out of the shot.
And once you create something like that, you can have a 30-second shot, and as long as your shot's pretty much still, you can just keep, repainting out that same spot over and over on each frame afterwards. Because I understand the concepts on these things, but I let him do the work.
You're the slave.
Good to have people like that involved in your projects.
Well, I couldn't do anything without people who are willing to actually create these things. But there, I have done some work on it, and like the very beginning shot with the sky, we replaced the sky and painted in some of the mountains. I did all that work. And the ruins in the background. Now, what I do on this is take a still of the video and put it into Photoshop and go grab a ruin on Google somewhere and put it in there and adjust the lighting, get everything just right, and fuzz it out a little bit because it's in the background.
I thought that was really Utah, though. You're saying?
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
It's there's no ruins in Utah that I know of.
It's the Bulwark Peaks.
The Bulwark Peaks. We created, we took Utah and turned it into the Bulwark Peaks of a fantasy world. So that ruins in the background, of course, then your subject is going to walk over that area, so you have to rotoscope the subject out. And rotoscoping is a technique where you basically are just outlining something and masking it out from the background.
That's like the new, like the Richard Linklater's, isn't that rotoscoping his
You got me.
Scanner Darkly?
Yeah, that's rotoscoping an actual image and then making it look more like a cartoon.
Okay.
But it is rotoscoping where you're outlining something.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's watch that clip now.